is Chuzesheng, and today I want to do the Lab 3, Part 1, Program Part 1C, Program 1, which is look and add. So first, I want to present about the whole program. Okay, inside the data, we'll declare all of the variable. So first, the title message, prompt 1, prompt 2, result message, and total label. All of this, I just follow the example output inside the PDF for the instruction, and then all are declared as the size as a byte. And then the first variable is a site hex1. It's uh, is used to store the temporary site for the hexagon 1, and then site hex2 is the site for the hexagon 2. And then the parameter hexagon 1, we need to calculate the parameter for the hexagon 1, and then parameter hexagon 2 is a hexagon 2 parameter. And then for the total parameter, usually is the parameter hexagon 1 plus parameter hexagon 2. And then inside the code, we move the title message, the address of the title message, which is the calculate parameter 2 hexagon, and then to the EDX. EDX is a register that store the address of the string. So we move to the EDX, and then we call write string. Write string actually is a function inside the bin 32 used to output the string inside the EDX. So actually at here, we will output the calculate parameter 2 hexagon loop and add instructions. Then we call the CRLF, means that it's like the end line. We go to the next line, and then we move the prompt 1, input the hexagon 1 site length, the address into the EDX. So and then we output the prompt 1, and then the read decimal means that we need to wait the user to input a decimal value, and then this decimal value will store in the EAX register. After store in the EAX, we move the EAX into site hex1. So the site hex1 will hold the value for the user input just now. And then the next is the move the address of the prompt 2 into EDX, and then we output the prompt 2 also, and then we wait the user to input the decimal value, and then we into and store in the EAX. Next, we move the EAX value into the site hex2. So at here, we already have the value for the site hex1 and the site hex2 because it's a same site hexagon. So we only need to input one value for the site hex1 and site hex2. Next, we want to move the 6 into the ECX because the hexagon has a 6 size, and ECX is actually is a loop, like a loop counter register. So means that we want to doing a loop 6 times. So we move the 6 into ECX, and then we move the 0 into EX because we want to clear the content in the EX, become initialized is 0, and then we move the value of the site hex1 into the EBX. Next, the first loop, loop 1, we will add the EBX in the EX. So EX now will contain the value of EBX because 0 plus site hex1. So EX will become site hex1. And then loop 1. Loop L1 actually means that it will decrement the ECX1. Means that the sex will become 5, and then go back the loop and doing this instruction again. So actually it will doing 6 times, so it will add 6 times. So actually after the 6 times, the EAX will become site hex1 times 6. So it actually EAX will become the parameter for the hexagon 1. And then we will move the perimeter of the hexagon 1 EAX into the perimeter. So the perimeter hexagon 1 will store the perimeter of the hexagon 1. Okay. Next, we already do the hexagon 1, the perimeter of hexagon 1. So next we doing the same task for the hexagon 2. And because the loop 1 already decrement the ECX becomes 0 because each time loops will decrement 1. So now ECX will become 0. So we need to move 6 again into the ECX, and then we initial EAX becomes 0 to clear all the content of EAX, and then we'll move the set hex 2 into a EBX because we need to calculate the perimeter of the set hex 2. And then loop 2, we move the EBX or EAX, and then loop 2, the ECX will decrement 1, become 5. Each loop will decrement 1 until the 0 to break the loop. And then after that, we have the perimeter of the hexagon 2 inside the EAX because the EAX actually is the side hex 2 times 6. So it is also known as the perimeter of hexagon 2, and then we move to the variable perimeter hexagon 2 to store the value. Next, we went to calculate the total perimeter, means that the perimeter hexagon 1 plus perimeter hexagon 2. So we actually just doing the perimeter hexagon 1 move into the EAX, and then we add the perimeter hexagon 2 into the EAX. So actually inside EAX already has the total perimeter, and then we'll move the EAX into total perimeter. So total perimeter will hold the value of the EAX. Next, because after that we need to display the result. Okay, display the message. So we just move the address of the result message, which is result of the perimeter hexagon 1 and 2 into the EDX, and then we output the result message at the terminal, output at the screen, on the screen. And then CIL is the next line, and then we move the perimeter hexagon 1 into the EAX. Why we want to move in the EAX? Because we want to output the decimal value, and then this right decimal is actually is a function that output the decimal value in the EAX. So we need to move the perimeter hexagon 1 into EAX first, and then we output in the decimal. So write decimal. Now next is we already output the perimeter hexagon 1. Next we inline a new line, and then we move the perimeter hexagon 2 value into the EAX, and then the output the value of the perimeter in the decimal. Next we inline become the new line. We we move the address of the total label. What is total label? Total label is the total perimeter. We want to output the total perimeter hexagon 1 and 2. So we just we move the address of total label into the EDX, and then output the string inside the EDX until it meets the 0, which is the null, and then it will terminate the output. Then the move EAX total perimeter is we move the value in the total perimeter into the EAX because it's the same as just now. We want to output the decimal value inside the total perimeter, so we move to the EAX first, and then we write the decimal and end line. So after that we exit the whole program. So our whole program is completed. Now I want to debug and try to see the result. Let's start debugging. Wait, first, what is the example? Wait, so the set length, like we try to put 12 and then 13. The result of the parameter hexagon 1 and 2 is 72 and 78 because 12 times x is 72, 13 times x is 78, and then the total parameter hexagon 1 and 2 is 72 plus 78. So we got the answer 150. So actually, this uh my whole program for the program 1, look and add. So thank you.